What are you doing?
Making a mistake.
Making a mistake. What is going on in your mind?
Dr. Disrespect.
Here we go.
The moment many of you have been waiting for. There was something in this. So I did a video on this and quickly retracted it when he edited minor into the fucking thing. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, what a oopsie. And he changed it like 4 fucking times. But I want to point something out here in this entire we're not going to read this whole thing. I just got one thing that I wanted to touch on here. So we have a whole list of things to pretty much say, oh, I admit this is all true. But this really stuck out to me. Were there Twitch whisper messages with an individual minor back in 2012? The answer is yes. Were there real intentions behind these messages? The answer is absolutely not. That's what every fucking pedo catch. Well, if you watch those catch videos where they get these guys and they're like, we have these messages and, you know, why are you talking to this 16-year-old girl? Every single one of those motherfuckers says,
ones where they're like, why do you have a bunch of condoms and shit?
That's not what I was going to say. What I was going to say is that all of them say, oh, well, I was just here to talk to her. There was no intent. There was no intent. I was here to just be her friend and do that. That's exactly what they say.
Yeah.
And, you know, the way he worded that, and then he goes on to say, nothing illegal happened. It's like, according to who?
He was just there to, he was going to educate her on online predators.
Like, you know, yeah, that's the problem here. And I don't know who was in charge of writing this, but this was bad. This was absolutely awful.
It was just dumb. Like, this dude threw away his entire career because he wanted to fucking jack off in a room chat with some chick. What the fuck is wrong with this guy? What is wrong with people like this? Stupid. I'm not going to touch on some of the other stuff, like that one with the trans person. I don't know if that's real or not. But what a stupid move this guy did. Dumb. And we don't even know any details. People are latching on to that 17-year-old thing. That was from some sourceless email that was going around. We don't know how old this chick was. No idea. It could be 14, 13. We don't know. That 17-year-old thing, I don't know where that comes from. It was from some email that nobody knows where the fuck it came from. Some guy, I don't want to give my identity. So I could type that shit up and put it out there.
But also, too, doesn't that make Twitch look really bad? Because that whisper thing that they had, you had to be 18 or over or something. And like if there is a minor in there, then it basically it's going to get out that somebody was able to manipulate the system so that they had minors in there. I don't know.
Well, remember, like I said last week, corporations will spend money to cover up bad things.
True, yeah.
And they fired Doc. He sued him. And they're like, oh, shit, this will come out. But if we pay Doc money and he signs an NDA, nobody ever knows. And nobody knew for 4 years. So it worked.
So I need to understand something because I don't think I understand fully. So Dr. Disrespect talked to this girl, and then Twitch paid out his contract because of it?
No. So Doc talked to
He sued for that.
Doc talked to this chick sometime in 2017.
Okay.
By 2020, like Doc was signed so Twitch could go to war with Mixer and Twitch could be, you know, king of the heap. Well, Mixer crashed and burned. I mean, it makes sense at that point. Now Doc's a liability. We've spent all this money on a guy. We don't need him anymore. I don't know if they had this. I don't know if they had this sitting in their pocket the entire time or they scoured for something to get rid of him. But they use this as an excuse to fire him. And I think they thought Doc might walk away from it, but he sued. And then when they settled out like 2 years ago, there were NDAs signed all around. And it was like, you can't talk about fuck all that we did at Twitch. Anything. Like, I'm pretty sure it basically Doc can't mention the word Twitch out of his mouth. And that's why that first statement was very vague. The second statement was kind of a little different. And then he comes out with this one. He was basically everybody shut up, and they buried it.
Well, I'm going to pull up Legal Mindset's tweet.
Yeah.
I want to like this one real quick. He was like 30 something years, like 35, right? At the time when then, 35 years old. He's got no business talking to us. And we don't even, everyone's latching on. We don't know how old she was, but even she was 17. This dude has no business talking to a 17-year-old, 16-year-old, nobody.
That's why you follow the Billy Graham rule.
It's irresponsible.
And was he actually married at the time as well? I mean,
yes.
Responsible too. Just even if it wasn't even a minor, it's a little bit, I mean, people can do what they want.
He's cheated on his wife before, right? Am I mistaken?
Yeah. Well, that's why that's why I don't think. Look, the minor shit is the issue, the problem, right? Like, because he had already admitted to the whole not being faithful thing. He took a break from Twitch way back in the gap because of that, and I think a lot of people are a lot more forgiving. Though I obviously as a married man would support anything like that, people are going to be a lot more forgiving if it was just him trying to shack up with someone that was his age.
Yeah, infidelity.
I mean, I'm pretty sure we all consume media dirtbags that have done some fucked up shit in relationships. The minor shit that was, make no mistake, the big issue. That was the core. That was the core issue, and nobody's gonna tolerate that, man. I think this is the first time I've even had a chance to even speak about this publicly, because everybody knows I was a huge fan of fucking Doc when this shit happened, and it was tough. It put me in a very weird spot, because I was like, this is obviously fucked up. Like, this is unacceptable. And you try to, as anybody would, try to like make sense of like, why the fuck would someone in that position risk it all over that? Like, that's just
exactly.
That's just so.
But hang on, it's not canon because she didn't explicitly tell him her age. Sorry, I was trying to make it.
Look, the fact that
she did though. So there's enough out there showing that he did know and said it wasn't a big deal.
Again, that's the whole important part of it. It's like, okay, if you are engaging in those types of conversations with someone that is a minor, and you know they are a fucking minor, you're fucked up. Like, you're fucked up. That's foul. That's not acceptable. And look, when I said this whole thing broke, I was like, nobody goes unscathed with this. It was either one of two choices. Either Twitch knowingly, basically, they're effectively protecting the fucking predator, right? Or it was Doc was being railroaded. Those were the only two fucking positions. So now it sounds like
they were going after him.
It was only two positions. So if number one is the truth, which is what I think everybody is kind of leaning towards right now, then Twitch still is, they can't be let off the hook for that. Like, that's if someone is knowingly speaking on your fucking platform, right? That really changes the game, because they were doing it via whispers apparently, and they're communicating on your platform, and then you protect the fucking predator.
Well, and that's what I was saying.
And then they paid him.
The only thing,
not even that, Sean. Yeah, they paid him even worse.
They paid him like what? Like 100 mil, isn't that what his contract was? Yeah. So it's not even they paid him like $20.
Yeah,
and that's the part I brought up.
Out the predator,
because I said, if anything, if this was going on, why didn't Twitch turn him in? Right,
Twitch should be in shit for this.
Yeah, and Sean, you brought up last week the whole business part, but like we have here this thing here, and if this is true, I'm not saying this lets Twitch off the hook, but it opens up a whole new kind of like, okay, so what does this mean that he's saying here? Because Dr. Disrespect was reported to Twitch reported by Twitch to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children.
It's not a law enforcement agency, though.
Yeah, I know. So, like, what is this about? Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. Thank you. So that answers that question right there.
Yeah, they're a nonprofit organization, but if Twitch is really concerned, they would hire a law firm, and they come in and get that. And law firms do this shit, like the big ones, all the time. Can you come and investigate this for us and tell us what the fuck happened? And they didn't do that. They went to these guys. And, it's like this allegation. It's like no wrongdoing was found. Well,
according to who?
Who the hell was these people investigating?
Yeah.
And no illegal activity took place. According to who?
No.
Yeah.
Like, how much did they know? What were they allowed to investigate? Like, did they have at the Twitch here? Our doors are open. I don't think so. I think they said, "Hey, what does this look like to you guys?" And they only gave him probably a little bit of it. I mean that.
Yeah.
So the idea of like, nobody did anything wrong. It's like
it stinks, bro. Like altogether, like I said, there's only one or two options. Somebody's getting fucked over. But if it is number one, Twitch for sure. I mean, people should be looking at them as at the foul people that they are, because you knowingly had someone basically that you protected predatory practices that were happening on your fucking platform. And that's a problem. Like, and nobody seems to talk about that. We're all getting on rightfully Doc for doing the foul shit, but it's like, well, there's another party that's complicit in this, as far as I'm concerned, in Twitch, and we all know the kind of grimy, like dirty shit that already happens on that platform. We know that there's minors on it, which probably should not be, considering some of the stuff that they've allowed historically on that platform. Like, Twitch should be for sure nailed just as much as he has.
Oh, that's what I've been saying. Exactly. Like, and they're the ones who have all the answers, right?
That's a good point.
Supposedly, yeah. And there's a little bit more to this Flash if you scroll down.
Yeah.
This part I don't buy. I read the second part of it, and I'm like,
this part?
Yeah.
Let me pull it up.
The unconfirmed part?
Yeah. You know, the whole thing that it's bait.
What difference does that make? He's still new.
To me, because if you read it, said they were all fired soon after and sued by Doc's legal team. So if Doc knew it was all bullshit, he wouldn't have come out with that whole long ass statement talking about, well, yes, I did all of this. He'd say, look, these are all bullshit. It was all gay ops by a bunch of Twitch mods and Twitch staff, and he could have walked away from it. So he wouldn't have come out and admitted to all this stuff if back then he knew it was bullshit.
Yeah.
So that's why, to me, I
don't think
this is true at all.
Good point. They definitely.
I'm sorry.
That one guy. There's that one guy. That Cody guy. Definitely doesn't like Nick Merckx. Yeah, the guy that was trying to sell tickets.
Yeah,
shit based on this.
Yeah, that's why I didn't believe him, because like last year he was running around screaming this stuff.
Yeah, Slasher was too. By the way, he was riding that hard for a year. I know why, but I can't tell you.
Sean, help me out on this. Like, I get it. I've obviously, I got my lawyers, and I kind of chatted with them about this type of stuff.
You got practicing lawyers.
Yeah, practicing. my practice lawyers, right? We've chatted about this, but are the NDAs that fucking strong, right, to where people are going to knowingly protect illegal activity? Is that like a standard in like corporate America?
Well, generally speaking, you can't contract out the non-reporting of it, but for Twitch, because it's Twitch and Doc, those are the only two parties here. Doc's got a hell of an incentive. I get to keep like my 100 mil or whatever it was. It was like 100, 120 mil.
Yeah.
I get all my money and I get to ride off in the sunset. And Twitch, in the middle of, 2020, 2022, we're still in Me Too is like at a fever pitch still.
True.
They got a hell of a reason just to be quiet. Okay. They've got a massive incentive for this just to kind of lay low and boil over. Because now look what's happened. As of right now, nobody's screaming to go burn down Twitch. If this had happened in 2022, holy shit, imagine how bad this would have been for him. Or even in 2020. Like, let's say Doc didn't care about the money and he said, well, and he let it leak out and was willing to burn everything down, to burn Twitch. Yeah, I mean, the NDAs don't prohibit the illegal contact from being done, but both parties on this NDA had a awesome incentive to want to keep it enforced.
Yeah.
Well, that's the problem, is even if Doc wanted to burn Twitch down, it would have made him look bad anyway.
Well, yeah, but at that point, he's texting minors, so it's like,
yeah, he's cooked either way.
It doesn't make you how much worse.
I don't care if it was a setup or not. Yeah. He obviously thought it was a 17-year-old. That's all that fucking matters.
Yeah.